What's up, guys? Got a cool radioactive build to show off. Haven't done one of these in a minute. At least this dial layout. Grabbed a silver dial that we distressed the background in, acid dip it, and then did it in a nice black, and then light sanded it. So you still get a little bit of the black on the radioactive logo, a little bit of black on the indices throughout. Did a silver handset in there, and then a custom painted black with green dot. Second saying, no, that's green paint, not loom. This is in a bead blasted 710 case. I don't do 710 cases very often, but I happen to have a couple of them. So bead blast them, they normally come polished. So bead blast, a little bit distressed. I hit a little bit of sanding on the edges. Whenever you sand the bead blast, it brings back like a higher, like a shinier kind of silver. So just hit it in a few little spots to do that. Tooth bezel on this. You've probably only seen a few tooth bezels. These were tough to get. This is a black distressed one that I hit with the Dremel around a little bit to kind of blend in the look from the front. But from the side, you can see that it's a nice dark gray. So on the top of it, it's done. It's grinded down a little bit with the Dremel. It says the dual hour and minute referencing all the way around. Black crown with the biohazard logo, radioactive logo, lasered out off that to expose what's under it. And then when we did the caseback, we did that also in a bead blast. And then when you laser that, kind of gives it a nice little holographic look. So black straight on, kind of holographic from the edge. And then we just cerakoted the tension ring. Is that what that would be? It's not a tension ring. Tension ring's on the glass. Caseback ring. Basically just a bunch of all thread that just gets put on there, and that's held on with compression. So not compression. That's put on, and then this is screwed down, and that is how that holds that thing on there. So a lot of your watches, when you take your case back off, you have to replace that O-ring on there because it's getting kind of twisted and smashed. This is pressure. Straight down. Okay, Google, volume down. And then this is on one of my buddy Jonathan Gillespie from Wristbound. One of his straps on it's a nice black with distressing on it and with some light silver on there, so I thought it went perfect with this bead blasted build. And a bead blasted buckle on there. So that's the build. I thought it came out pretty awesome. The distressed detail on the dial I was a big fan of. So hopefully you like it. This will be available in tonight's event as a possible option for the winner, but this is also something anybody could reach out and purchase thereafter if they'd like. Bezel on this is on there extremely tight. These tooth bezels, one of the reasons I didn't use them very often was because I could get them on there and they would kind of spin like a top. They wouldn't come off very easy, but they would spin just because whomever made the tolerances flared them out just a little bit. So I put on something decently tight, snapped it on, and it spun like a top, but it was difficult to get off. So I finally was able to get it off. I tightened up the tension insert for the bezel, put it back on there. It was tighter, but impossible to get off. So that took forever. Finally got it off. I wrapped the ring with some dental floss to give it a little bit closer of a border and put it back on there. And now the thing won't turn unless you want to turn it. So if you want to turn it, go for it. But you are not going to accidentally turn that. That thing, it will leave. I can't get my thumb far enough away. There you go. It'll leave imprints. Because you literally have to grip the hell out of it and twist it. So, that is the build on this. Automatic mechanical, so you can wind it, wear it, put it in a watch winder. But if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it just a little bit. And how you do it is you back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. You'll see that it's off the threads, a little bit of play there, but you'll hear it clicking. At that point, you can wind, and a wind is a turn that way. Turning it towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and just go back and forth with it. If you do this for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, you'll keep time throughout the day because that'll be mixed with your rotor movement. Below this is a stainless steel movement holder and a little signed rotor, but a rotor nonetheless. So that mixed with the rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. If you're not very active, driving vehicle all day, sitting at a desk, not moving your wrist very much, it might die on you. So if you do it for closer to 15 seconds, you're going to max out your 31-hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. You can wind it all day if you like. When you're happy with your winding, you'll pull it to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. And you'll also notice you've got a wobble crown that deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressure in there on the movement. Okay, Google, what time is it? 4 something.
It's 4:09 p.m.
Giddy up. 4:09. There we go. Then you'll push it over, get it out of that time setting, and then just wind it all the way down. And that is the build. As with every build, it's going to come with matching beads, entirely up to you if you wear those or not. It's going to come in a black radioactive box. It's going to come with watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal parts, so everything here in the center of the watch. Non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue. Some leather conditioner to keep this strap perfectly soft. This is a very thick strap. If it's ever not as pliable as you like or not as soft, add it to the front and back, let it soak in, remove any excess on it. A little bit will go a long way. And then lastly, some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, which I never filled this up from my last video, which I need to. This is basically like Polywatch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, no big deal. Put a tiny bit of this on it. Buff it out using your included microfiber. There's on this pen mark on here. What's this on there? It's not on the actual thing. It's on this plastic, but dab it on there, buff it, haze it a little bit. If the scratch is up and down, go left and right, kind of fill in that scratch, haze it, and then wipe it off. And it should clear up your glass. If not, wait a little bit, let it solidify, do it again so you're not messing with the old. And that's it. If the build's going to you, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you a ton. If you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.